Flashpoint Batman is from the Flashpoint universe, a universe in which Barry Allen's mother didn't die and things were different. One of those things was that Thomas Wayne survived while his son Bruce died, and in return he became a brutal Batman. Well, that universe was destroyed when Barry Allen went back and fixed the Flashpoint timeline. But Flashpoint Batman has shown up multiple times. Not sure why he even exists. He showed up in the Tom King Batman run, he showed up in the Button run, and he's also been joining up with Justice League Incarnate to try and redeem himself. Well, after all of those adventures, he discovered that his universe existed again, even though it's not supposed to. So he's been on a journey within the Flashpoint universe to discover why does it exist and what is going on. In our last episode, he learned the unsettling truth of this world. The world that he fought to maintain was all a lie. He'd become a paradox, something that shouldn't even exist, and yet there he was. He began to try and learn why his world existed, but he also knew that to set things right, he'd have to undo whatever it was that created it to make sure that it was Bruce who lived, not him and Martha. But while this is going on, Bruce is back in the main dimension trying to understand what is happening. And it's back on Thomas's world that he now faces off against this world's Superman, Subject 1. As Subject 1 is attempting to stop him from unraveling the entire universe. This is Comicstorian. I read comic books back to you in a dramatic fashion. I act out what's going on, I narrate it, and I get to pretend that I'm the characters, and it's a lot of fun. And if you enjoy this, consider giving this a like and subscribe after you watch the video. Now let's get into Flashpoint Beyond, issue number 3. The alleyway goes silent as Subject 1 is staring at Thomas. But Thomas barely holds himself up, telling the alien, "Stay back!" Behind them, Boomerang grabs his gun, opening fire, but as the bullets just plink off the Superman, he turns back, telling him, "Leave or burn." Boomerang barely gets to his feet before running, and Thomas asks why is he here. And Superman tells him, "Because I need help." "No." Superman asks again. Thomas spins back, punching him, nearly breaking his fist on the alien's face. But as Thomas recoils, he says that there is nothing that can make him stop what he's doing. "Do you understand? Nothing!" Before Thomas could finish his sentence, Superman smacks him so hard that he falls over, knocked out. Later, as he begins to wake up, he's dreaming about Bruce, and he finds himself on a bed of flowers. He sits up seeing Poison Ivy walking towards him with breakfast and asks, "Where's the alien?" Ivy tells him that he doesn't like being called that. Thomas asks again, but Ivy says that he doesn't scare her anymore, since he killed her. She's become one with the Parliament of Trees. Thomas shrugs her off, telling her that she's as crazy as she ever was. She always has been. But where are we? Ivy guides Thomas through the overgrown trees, telling him that this is the Oasis, that she and Superman helped create this place for the displaced like him. A home for those that have none. Did he make this place? She tells him no, but it was his idea. But it was Jason Woodrow who built it. You know, the Swamp Thing. Thomas walks into the next room, and Superman again tells him, "I need your help. You said that before you gave me the concussion. Bring me back to Gotham. Now. You must see it first." And Superman reaches out for a crystal. "What are those?" But Superman stops him again. "Just watch and listen." The vines begin to extend and take the form of a person. That vine person says that if they are receiving this, "Son, that means you've survived. And it means that we could too. Krypton is dying, but there is a hope. You've been sent along with other children to find a new world for our species. Your mission upon reaching adulthood is to use your powers from the Yellow Sun to disarm the humans in advance of our arrival. And then we will conquer them, as father and son, together. Do you understand?" "Yeah. It says that there's going to be an invasion. How long do we have?" Swamp Thing says that the green is weak in the darkness, but it still speaks. 5 days. So Superman turns and asks, "Do you understand now? My father is coming here to enslave and take over. My father doesn't understand that these people are good people." "Good? Those people imprisoned you, tortured you, and now your father is coming to destroy them so that you can have a future? Why stop him from doing that?" Superman stops him. "Because they matter. Their lives matter." Thomas turns and tells him, "No. I have 5 days to complete my mission, but it has nothing to do with yours. Good luck. I'll find my own way home. But elsewhere, time has already begun to unravel as Commissioner Gigante looks down at her newest crime scene asking, same thing? And the officer on the scene says pretty much. An incision from the neck to the navel. Body full of clock parts. The girl that owns the place, Iris West, says that he showed up out of nowhere and panicked. Gigante asks, any idea? The officer says nothing, no name, no fingerprints in the system. This guy, Sophia, he just doesn't exist. She looks back down at the dead body of Eobard Thawne, stating that for someone who doesn't exist, he sure wears a lot of flashy threads. And that's when we see the Reverse Flash is dead, sprawled out. Later at the morgue, Thomas is looking over Eobard's body, telling himself that this man is a living paradox just like himself. One who exists when he shouldn't, but one who had great power. The power to manipulate the timeline permanently. Eobard went back in time and murdered Barry Allen's mother and somehow solidified history around that. He's the reason Allen attempted to change time in the first place. But it wasn't how Eobard was killed that was on Thomas's mind, it was why. Slowly, Thomas begins to make an incision, pulling out the small cogs and gears, reminding himself that he is doing this for Bruce. He collects the parts and heads back home, but before he can even enter the manor, Cobblepot runs out with a worried look on his face. Cobblepot doesn't answer as Thomas is asking, where is Dexter, the child that he rescued from Two-Face? Cobblepot says that he didn't think about it at first, but with all the news surrounding Arkham, he didn't think that Dexter would also want to go see his mother. The kid lost his sister to suicide, lost his father to murder. He doesn't need to know that he lost his mother to madness as well. They need to do something. So Thomas begins to lay out the parts, stating that he thought Dexter might be able to help him as a witness to his father's death. But he was one step removed from the real killer. The clock gears that were inside the Reverse Flash hold the answer. Nothing else matters. Once I put all the gears back, I can fix it all. Thomas lays out the parts, putting the clock together, and he comes to a realization. One of the pieces that he has does not belong to this particular clock. The extra piece has a specific marking to determine what sort of clock it goes into, and Thomas knows exactly where. He hurries back to the cave to the grandfather clock in the manor, ripping off the faceplate to compare the pieces, and sees that they are identical. He stops for a moment. It's impossible. Cobblepot comes over asking him what's wrong, and Thomas looks at him telling him, I know who the killer is. But while Thomas comes to the horrible realization of who that person is, over in the metaverse, the snow globe that Bruce has taken begins to shake and crack with a very peculiar laughing sound. Bruce asks if that's temporal energy, and Corky asks if he's kidding. It's much more than that. It's blue shift power. It was created when the Omniverse comes into direct contact with hypertime, when space meets time. It's the most dangerous energy on either side of the divine continuum. As the globe begins to rupture, Bruce asks, why is it happening? Have you ever read Shakespeare's The Tempest? Of course you did. So you know if there's a big storm like the one in that snow globe, all these awful people get stuck on a deserted island where all the bad things happen to them. It's not as much fun as Swiss Family Robinson, which is one of my top favorites. But there's a really neat quote from it. Like, good wombs have borne bad sons. Of course, the other way around is true. See, your mom, she had a lot of secrets, had a lot of problems, things you didn't know about, things from her past, things you didn't realize your dad was going to face in there. You see, I warned you, I really did. You don't know everything about everything this time. You don't know the truth about your mom. As the metaverse itself begins to grow unstable, back in the paradox Flashpoint world that shouldn't exist, Thomas is rushing through the traffic, telling himself that Bruce would have figured this out after the first murder. He couldn't see what was right in front of his face. Martha is the answer. While Thomas is piecing things together, Cobblepot shouts over the comms, asking if he is even listening. Thomas yells back, "What do you want?" And Cobblepot tells him that Dexter tried to break Gilda out of Arkham. He needs to keep Dexter away from his mother. Thomas tells him that the priority is Martha Wayne, but Cobblepot doesn't understand. He's read the files on Gilda, the ones that Judge Dent sealed. There are two faces to Gilda. Dent is his wife's dark side and covered up her crimes against her own children. Dexter's sister didn't kill herself, Master Wayne. Thomas pauses for a moment. It doesn't matter. But Cobblepot shouts, what the hell is wrong with you? I went along with all of this because you wanted to save your son. But Dexter is an innocent kid. He's no different than Bruce, except he's still alive. You're wrong, Cobblepot. I know this won't make any sense to you now, but it's all going away tonight. You've been a good friend, Oswald. Thank you. Batman out. Seconds later, Thomas arrives at Arkham, jumping through the skylit window, with Martha stating, hello, honey! She rushes towards him, trying to stab him, but Thomas shoots the knife out of her hand and then continues his charge. Why did you do it? Why did you kill them? But Martha springs a second knife, cutting into his cape. You'll find out soon enough! Across the way, Dexter and Gilda hurry into the elevator, with Dexter stating, I thought I'd lost you, Mom. And she kneels down, hugging him. Oh no, we're going to be together forever. But her words begin to twist at the end as the elevator doors shut. Stop, Mom, please, that hurts. Dexter calls out. Thomas grabs Martha, throwing her into her room, locking them in, asking, how is this even possible? You're supposed to be dead. Martha asks, when is he talking about? When we last saw each other, or what? 30 years ago in Crime Alley? See, I've been wondering that myself, ever since the man with the golden mask was talking about Bruce. I heard him while I was hiding within these walls, but I made him tell me everything before I killed him. He talked about how this world was changed from what it should be, how Bruce is supposed to be Batman, and the Joker, can you imagine? The Joker's a man! A secret passage begins to open, and as Thomas begins to walk down it, Martha stabs him in the side. You can learn a lot from here, like what makes people tick. Mr. Hayden sounded crazy. All this talk of other worlds, about how you were destroying this one to save our son. Oh, what I wouldn't do to save our son. Martha pushes Thomas into the next room. You would do anything to save Bruce, wouldn't you? As Thomas looks up, he sees Martha standing next to the time sphere, along with the pictures of all the people who could influence time, the ones that she'd killed. Martha goes on, I know you have questions, like where are we? After you thought you left me for dead, I woke up. I found a stream that took me out of the cave and it led into the sewers. And then to here. It was a lonely place to die, so I didn't. That's where I heard his voice drifting down the cleansing rain. This world shouldn't be, it said. So I hunted down the people that would potentially know how to change time, and I took everything from them, leaving a trail for you to follow while I built this. I hate this place just as much as you do. But we're going back in time to ensure that we die and Bruce lives, and all it will cost is an entire universe. What's it going to be, Thomas? Meanwhile, back with Bruce and Corky over in the metaverse, the snow globe is leaking energy, and Corky tells him that the globe can't contain the hyper time. His father will never accept the world that he put him into. And if they don't stop this right now, they are all doomed. But in a flash, Rip Hunter appears and tells Bruce that he knows why he is here. Bruce tells him that he won't let Rip interfere. And Corky says, you can't do anything to stop the boss. I warned you and you didn't listen. And now you're up a creek without a paddle. And there we have it. We are caught up on Flashpoint Beyond, and it looks like Bruce is trying to give his father the perfect world again, that he created the paradox. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the implication that I'm getting at this point. So this has been Flashpoint Beyond issues 1 through 5. If you want to know where this goes, make sure you like and subscribe. You'll know exactly when this video comes out, the conclusion to this. And don't forget to check us out on Patreon and YouTube memberships to get early access. I'll see you guys next time right here.